Our relationship with God is not and never can be something that we can control. We will always and forever be dependent upon God's grace. Pastor Dwight Anderson. Life brings us every opportunity to draw us out of spaces where we think we are secure into an adventure yet to unfold, or an experience that is meant to grow strength and faith. Our awareness of both the threat and our truest anchor grows. Take a moment to take a virtual tour of the current setting of your life. Are you sailing with the wind in your sails? Are you in a sinking ship? Is your life tossing you about like a raging sea driven by a violent wind? Are the waters calm? Too calm? From Mark 4. That day when evening came, Jesus said to his disciples, "Let us go to the other side." Leaving the crowd behind, they took him along, hear these words, just as he was in the boat. Just as he was makes you think that he was unprepared for a little boating expedition. God, unprepared or underdressed? Who knows? It just says they took him along just as he was. But it gives you the feeling he was going to be caught unprepared, as you might find yourself from time to time. Here's a philosophical quote from Caroline, a Princeton grad, about trip-taking and expeditions. You'll either have a good time or a good story. We continue with Mark 4. There were also other boats with him, and a furious squall came up, and the waves broke over the boat so that it was nearly swamped. Jesus was in the stern, sleeping on a cushion. Scary. A lake that is shallow can be dangerous. And when a storm whips up, quick action can be a matter of life or death. what might it mean that one passenger was asleep? The disciples were fishermen first. They knew what kind of storm with which they were dealing. Choosing fishermen, Jesus knew both what the fishermen knew and didn't know, but also what they would need to know for the choppy journey ahead. A stormy trip had within it a lasting story and a lesson for them. And for us. From a sermon by Martin Luther on this very text. The first lesson of this gospel is that if you want to be a Christian and you want to have the gospel, you must anticipate rough weather, for it is inevitable. End quote. Can you imagine the gift of this story is a gift given to you today? Continuing with Mark chapter 4, the disciples woke him and said to him, "Teacher, don't you care if we drown?" Pastor Jim Lawrence writes this: "Storms of all sorts are inevitable. There are lots of storms in life. Some are our fault. Most are not. We must anticipate rough weather. At the end of the day, there is really only one kind of storm that is truly frightening. And it can be summed up in the disciples' question to Jesus when they woke him up as the storm raged around them. Isn't that the worst storm of them all? Does Jesus care? It's a storm in and of itself. Within us, can we trust God? Did Jesus care? He got up, rebuked the wind, and said to the waves, "Quiet, be still." And then the wind died down, and it became a dead calm. And he said to his disciples, "Why are you afraid? Why do you still have no faith?" And they were terrified and asked each other, "Who is this? Even the wind and the waves obey him." Martin Luther wrote, "When you live in security, exercise your freedom, and are free of danger, and have no needs, then you may think that with free will you can do anything. But in time of need, where is your free will then? It's lost, and it fails you when it comes to the test. But faith stands and seeks Christ." If we can know God cares, really cares, the storms that threaten cannot swamp us, for Jesus is in the boat of life as the one who is beyond life as we know it, with power far beyond that of a quasar. Day by day we come to know the sun does shine, the birds do sing, tomorrow will come, and we are safe in God's keeping. Ragings from within and without, threatening in every way to swamp you with both doubt and despair. In the time that remains, might you not take a moment to take a look around at your momentary resting place, a nave, a boat, wherein you are safe and beloved. Breathe it in. Is it not now part of you?